Namaste, fire signs. This is your reading. Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, all three of you, this is your reading. Why am I doing it like this? Well, some of you may know that I had said that I was only going to read for the earth signs moving forward because, well, it just takes a lot of energy for me to do these readings. And the views for the other signs weren't nearly as high as that of the earth signs. And so I said, okay, if I'm not going to get my energy back, then I probably shouldn't keep trying to put this energy forth. Also, particularly in consideration of the fact that I have so many other like private readings to do and private energy healing to do, that in all fairness, in those cases, people are paying for me to use my energy. You know what I mean? So if I'm going to store it up and reserve it, it should be for them. And so I ceased doing the other signs. It was this, I only did it once. Like this last time was my first time doing the earth signs only. And, as expected, as usual, I got good response from the earth signs. I can't say that I would have from the other elements, but I was asked by a few people to please at least do Sagittarius. And then someone proposed to me the other day, would you consider doing one video for each of the remaining elements? So one for fire, one for earth, and one for water. And I said, you know what? That sounds fair. That's only 3 more videos that I would have to do. And we'll see how that goes. If we get a good response on those, then I can continue. So this is the first of those. Some crazy stuff going on. I just found out from somebody that the end of the love reading is like cut off, all the advice that I did, and there's only like background noise and me doing nothing. So I'm not sure what went on with the camera at that point. It sounds like, I don't know. I don't know what it sounds like. Like it was off when I did the advice, but I don't know, just the way she described it, it sounded like I just stopped talking. And I said, unfortunately, no one mentioned this to me all day. And now like over 1,000 people have watched the love reading already, and nobody said anything until this one woman just a few moments ago. And I said, literally like a half hour ago, I just erased all the files off my camera. So if to fix it, which it sounds like it's going to require some file from me, if that's the case, I don't think I'm going to be able to, because I just erased my camera. So we'll see. I got to look into that. But anybody that's watching the love reading and then all of a sudden I stop talking, now you know why. What else? Oh, I did Capricorn's reading earlier. And this is crazy. They got like the 6 of Cups and the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Wands. Like a bunch of really, really good cards. Very positive for work, but also nostalgia. So in combining work and nostalgia, especially since the 6 of Cups was their overall energy and the Knight of Wands was in their work and finance, I said you may want to invest in like Hasbro. You may want to invest in a nostalgic company, a toy company or something. Maybe Hasbro wants to make a comeback. If I'm lying, may God strike me right now dead. Okay? Like a half hour after, I saw a post on Facebook that Hasbro has indeed made a comeback and purchased Death Row Records. I kid you not. So Capricorns, I hope it's not too late for you. Hopefully, you can still get in on it. It's a brand new deal. Get on it before the stock, flies up and goes crazy. And, you heard it first. So send me my my commission. Anybody that has a cross with Capricorn, with the Capricorn, maybe you're seeing one or you got some in your chart and you're on the fire sign, go out and, if you got a few dollars to invest in Hasbro. All right. On that note, let's get into specifically fire. I'm using this John Holland Psychic Tarot for the Heart. I've been using it all weekend. Although now you can't see it, at least for the love reading. And the funny thing was, with this particular deck on the love reading, I had given out the advice, and then I gave out more advice from this deck. like I was like, oh, I did these already. So each person, each archetype got 2 cards from this deck, and you can't see any of it. It sucks. But a lot of repeat energy. The Empress over and over. The Empress must have been in that reading 3-4 times, like from different decks and stuff. Emperor showed up many, many times too. So a lot of soulmate connections going on for the collective. That reading wasn't for any particular sign, the love reading. It's for the collective, and most specifically for people who consider themselves divine beings, twin flames, parts of some sort of sacred union or, divine union or something. So if that applies to you, yeah, you may want to check out the rest of the reading. It's still a 40-minute reading, where I did multiple spreads. So hopefully it'll still be helpful to you. This card came up, and I read it aloud on that reading, or the general, one of the two. I'm going to go ahead and read it for you too, because what I've been doing was with this deck, since I haven't used it in years, of course I can read it intuitively, and of course I know what the base chakra is, also known as the root chakra, goes down the base of the spine, is connected to earth energy. So again, if any of you are cross watchers because you're also part earth or dealing with an earth energy, maybe specifically a Capricorn, this card is more so for you even for that reason. But there may be some sort of blockage or something. But because I haven't used the deck also, and it is not only a tarot deck, but specifically a tarot deck for love, I've been enjoying at least reading the ones with the black border. Those are like the major arcana cards of this deck. So I've been reading those aloud for extra messages. So I'll do that for you too. Obviously, the color of the base or root chakra, the color associated is red. The element is earth, as I mentioned, also connected to the adrenal gland. And key words or phrases associated with this, if you in terms of manifestation, is I have. So you want to speak as if you have something already, not like you're just willing it to come at some unforeseen time in the future. Known as the base or root chakra, this energy center is situated at the base of the spine and is most closely related to all of your earthly issues, such as survival, the physical body, issues of money, sustenance, safety, shelter. Physical movement strengthens this chakra. Walk, dance, work in the garden. Do anything that will get you moving. By energizing this chakra, you'll strengthen your right to have, because it's associated with that I have. And you'll be blessed with the loving and supportive relationships that you truly deserve. Now, this next card is also upright, but it's not one of the ones with the black border, so I won't read this one from the book. It's Opportunity Beckons, and it's kind of like a 4 of Cups kind of card. I believe one of the earth signs may have had this as well. Gotten this card in, like in the same position here. It's kind of like a 4 of Cups cards. All kind of opportunities going to be coming available to you guys over the next couple of weeks. In fact, we have here in your surrounding energy the 3 of Wands, which is like your ships coming in. As a matter of fact, you can see all the little ships in the background in this card. This merchant is waiting for his ships to literally come in. And that's the same thing is happening for you. It's like in the process of manifestation, we started out with one wand or rod. And then, we had faith that more would come. The blessings would begin to come in. So then we had 2. And now we see it actually taking form. We have 3. And we just need that one more to have a solid foundation of like a 4 of Wands. And so that's what you indeed are waiting for. And it's just going to require a little bit more patience because you're almost there. So this card is similar. It's about opportunities, all kinds of wonderful things coming your way. And it may require you to do some intuitive thinking. Listen to your heart. Listen to your soul. What is it telling you that you should do? What direction, what path is it telling you to take with all of these different opportunities that are coming your way? It may be the crown chakra, which is also sitting here upright, will have some impact on this. Crown chakra, of course, associated to element of air. but I'll go ahead and look that one up. I hadn't prepared to read these, but I'll look that one up too for you quickly and read that one from the book as well. Number 7. Now, all about communication, thought, ideas, words. Crown chakra, color, violet. Element, thought. So that's air, right? Mercury controls thought, communication. Gland, pineal. That's the third eye. And keywords, I know. Sort of like, that firm belief. I am that am, right? I know this to be true. The crown chakra is located at the top of the head and has been called the 1,000-petaled lotus, or the receiver of light. This chakra is the center of your link with the universe, the infinite, and your higher consciousness. It's the connection between wisdom and spiritual insight. The crown center is the area where ethereal light and energy are received and then dispersed throughout your aura for total well-being. To enhance this chakra, sit quietly and visualize a lotus bud on the top of your head. As the bud blossoms, see a shower of whitish velvet sparkling light shining down from the universe onto the lotus, filling it and nurturing it. When complete, simply let the vision fade. Expanding this chakra opens you to receiving the ultimate bliss, divine love. Take comfort in knowing that you are cherished. From the Rider-Waite Tarot, you have an overall energy of Major Arcana card, the Magician. And when I picked this up, speaking of all this Earth and Pentacles, I had a feeling that a bunch of you were either had a lot of Earth in your own chart or dating an Earth sign. And that's because even when I was shuffling, I kept seeing the Knight of Earth, the Knight of Earth. And I'm like, I'm focusing on fire. Why does this guy keep popping up? Yeah, so connection. The Queen of Pentacles is a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, and is a nurturer, is all about compassion, a kind of mother type, mothering, can be thought of as like a Venus, right? Venus is the ruler of the sign of Taurus. And so the Empress, there's only one Empress in the deck, and it is that loving, mothering, fertile energy, full of compassion and consideration for others. Also upright, right behind that, is the Knight of Wands. So this is your energy, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. And this is the Prince Charming of the tarot, if you ask me. The knight that's always to the day, to save the princess, make her feel better, toss her on his horse without even stopping it, and just keep on going into the sunset and into the castle, He may be saving her from a broken heart, or helping to mend her for some sadness that is connected to a family issue with the 10 of Cups here. This is an issue that can be fixed. If we put the work and the effort into it, we can solve this issue. Could be with close friends, could be with family, could be with a romantic partner, somebody that you care about. You're not guided to back down, though. If you have a position that you're needing to defend, wanting to defend, you've made your own choices for your own soul, your own life, and you want to stick to them, you have every right to do so, and you should do so. You're encouraged to do so by the cards, not to let anybody push you around or change your mind. If you decide to change your mind, that's one thing, and that's fine. But for somebody else to come in and try to tell you what to do, or to coax you into seeing things their way so that you won't do what you really feel to do in your heart, what your intuition is telling you to do, when you look out, into the stars and up into the sky, into the moon, what are you feeling? What are you seeing? If this person is telling you something contrary, don't believe them. They're setting you up for disappointment. They're setting you up for failure. And, maybe it could be out of love, where they may think they're telling you the right thing to do, but really what they're doing is setting you up to be unhappy because you didn't follow your own inner guidance. You didn't follow your own heart. You didn't pursue your own interests, and maybe, again, even romantic love interests. Definitely could be some sort of connection that somebody's trying to break up or cause an issue with between an earth sign and a fire sign like yourself. But again, the Magician shows up to say you can do anything you want, and you have all the abilities, the wherewithal, the power to do anything you set your mind to. Again, with that Eight of Pentacles, sure, you're going to have to put some effort forth. You're going to have to do some work. When the Magician shows up, it's all about potential. You have the potential to be great, to do all kinds of amazing things. Doesn't mean that you will, because there is some sort of action you have to take, and unfortunately, in order to actually be successful. The Magician represents the planet Mercury, which I was just talking about, ruler of the signs of Gemini and Virgo. So maybe that's what the earth sign is, and is all about magic. Magic, not magic in terms of spells and things like that, but magic in terms of, like hashtag Black Girl Magic or whatever you are, your ability to make things happen. So the card that is going to be the main focus for your sign over these next 2 weeks, or your element rather, is the Queen of Cups. So a water element, water energy, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, someone likened to those traits or attributes. The Queen of Cups, similar to what I started saying about the Queen of Earth, honestly, is a nurturer. This is like the mother type, very, very loving, very emotional. She reminds us, though, to take care of ourselves, too, to treat ourselves also the same way we go out of our way to treat other people with, love and compassion. She reminds us to do the same for us, and of how important that is. And also that no matter like what we've been through, like we're not our circumstances, we're not our past. So regardless of what we've been through, what past we've experienced, we are worthy of love and respect. That is the message of the Queen of Cups. There can be an actual woman in your life, and maybe further to that, or actual person in your life, maybe further to that, specifically a woman, and maybe even further to that, a direct water sign, whose loving energy has possibly turned into something ugly. And this can really come up at work a lot of the time too. A woman in the workplace that used to be, like super kind and understanding and helpful, and you could go to her, like if you couldn't understand something, and she's turned into some kind of like wacko control freak. And, it's just very judgmental, and you can't trust her anymore. You thought she was on your side, or maybe at one time, again, she was on your side. She was like an ally to you. And now it's just like, like Frankenstein, the bride of Frankenstein. She just totally morphed into somebody else. The best way to handle her, however, is to be considerate, right? Like kill her with kindness, be considerate of her feelings. So you still remain in that other energy of, like the Queen of Compassion, the Queen of Earth, the Queen of Pentacles. You still remain in that energy, make use of it, and sort of kill this woman with confidence. Don't give her any more information. Don't tell her your secrets, unless it's something that you don't mind having shared with everybody. It's that kind of person, like, anything you tell them is at risk of being shared with the world. When she comes up in love, the outlook is good, though. Even though she's in reverse, it's still connected to true love, like very, very deep love, and that is like balance and understanding and, just very mutual and reciprocal. You do have to be patient. You do have to be patient. You want to make sure you don't become too impatient and forceful and, chasey, because chasing energy does tend to do exactly what it sounds like it's going to do. It chases people away, pushes them right on away. But good things come to those who wait. So if you don't rush, if you don't push, it is going to come to you. And maybe that is specifically why, or at least one of the reasons specifically why this Three of Wands sits next to the Queen of Cups for you. In terms of finances, again, this is also a very positive card. But she does remind us about being like overly aggressive in financially. So making cautious investments, thinking about the Hasbro thing, cautious investments, thinking about creative ways to, stretch the money, but like, you don't have to spend too much, but you still get the same anticipated outcome that you would have if you spent. Sometimes I'll go out of my way, like for example, I had bought my daughter a bag for Christmas, and it came in the wrong color, so I returned it. No sooner than I returned it, it went on sale. And I was like, oh man. And then they put it on like extra sale. And I'm like, I really should cancel it and like do it again, send it back again. But I still haven't even received it yet. Like the thing is late anyway. So I'm like, so now when it comes, like I would have had to lay my money out again and essentially have paid for 2 bags. Then when this one finally comes, then return it in order to get back the difference between the two. Because they told me they couldn't just credit me the difference. They don't do that when an item is on sale. They only do that with a non-sale item. So, it's like, if I wanted to watch my money, could that have been a way for me to do it? Yeah. On this time, I erred on the side of, oh, well, screw it. I'm not in the mood, to do all of that. And so I'm paying the extra money. But if there's ways where you can avoid paying the extra money, not being wasteful, it's a good time to not be wasteful. Because the Queen of Cups is super, super, super intuitive and stuff too, like naturally, this can also be very much about spirituality, and it may be about your hurry to grow spiritually, just like with everything else that, she touches. Does require some patience, or everything else that this 3 of Wands is involved with too. Does require some patience. Don't try to rush yourself. If you are experiencing some sort of health issue, then you may need to, again, be particularly loving and supporting of yourself, sending love to, throughout your body, and maybe specifically to the parts that are affected by whatever the situation is. That's what the Queen of Cups is good for. So let's get to the 3 of Wands that's next to you. 3 of Wands most generally relates to work, and that's why there's a merchant, like on the card, a businessman. It is about business. It's extremely positive. And even if you don't work outside the home, you own your own company, you do your own thing, it means that your efforts are seen and appreciated. Like, it could be your customers that really appreciate your work. Like the people that asked me, could you please do a fire sign reading? Because we appreciate your work and we're missing it. So, it's to give you that sort of reassurance that you're not like being just taken for granted or, going unseen, especially if you work for somebody else that you're looking for when you need the credit from them in order to be compensated. Then, just know that they are watching, and they know when it appears specifically in the context of work, because it could have something to do with your work. Again, you have a lot to be proud of in that regard. And if you're looking for work, if you're unemployed, you can expect to soon find a position that it's going to be better than you expected. And it's going to be something about which you're extremely passionate. That's what the Wands are about. And this is Wands and this is Wands also. So it like directly in your placement of work and finance. So that's super positive in that regard. Just, keep walking tall, holding your head up, knowing that you have a lot to offer. You're bringing it to the table and you have nothing to be ashamed of. No reason to be, feeling down about yourself and that you are unworthy and non-contributory, because that's not true. Not true at all. Since we're talking so much about work, let's just go straight into the position of work and finance now, because I want to talk about this King of Wands. Some of you may... Wait a minute. Let me start with the positive first. King of Wands can indicate that there's a lot of really helpful males. It could be anybody, but first and foremost, male, right? Around you at your job. And you can depend on these people. They may be older, sort of mentor types or whatever. But it can also be an indication that at least one in particular is, pretty condescending, patronizing, potentially even... I'm getting, because Wands can be phallic for me and sexual, maybe even leaning toward a sexual harassment sort of thing. And of course, again, that can be male or female, masculine or feminine. Anybody can be, sexually harassed. So it's not specific to women. I don't want to make it specific to women. Although, again, the card is with a male and a very masculine archetype on it. And that may be the case in real life too. So some of this kind of assholiness we have to take from people that we work with, especially if they are our superior. Like some of it we have to take it with a grain of salt, as they say. But if it becomes like where you just feel like it's really super inappropriate and maybe even disrespectful, untoward, then there may need to be some sort of action taken, or even a confrontation with you and that person about it. That may be another reason why the Seven of Wands showed up in, over here when I was looking at the cards behind the Magician. Again, about defending yourself and defending your position and not letting anybody just push you around and treat you like a punk, or, take advantage of you, or again, touch you or do anything that they don't have the right to do, that you didn't give them permission to do. And that from there, we'll just go straight into love and romance and the Five of Swords, which would also be a card of conflict. And look at how the sirens come in, like right precisely on that note. There's some sort of trouble brewing. Something needs healing, something needs fixing, somebody's in trouble. It's just getting louder and louder. Okay, we're acknowledging you. Anything that comes up in my readings is always, for me, part of it, especially since like sound is not supposed to come through my windows. Because I'm a 9/11 survivor. So like when my co-op, when they did renovations after 9/11, one of the things they gave us was these soundproof windows. So nothing comes through my windows when they're closed, but the sirens, and they come super loud. Isn't that something? Anyway, the Five of Swords, as it relates to love in reverse, is about the potential that you're sacrificing your happiness because of a need to feel or demonstrate, show that you're right about something, or that you did the right thing. So you could have chosen somebody, for example, there's so many ways to apply this. But for example, you chose somebody, they look good on paper, they look like the right one, whereas the other person that you were with maybe doesn't measure up in terms of that. They don't earn as much money, or they're not as handsome or as pretty, whatever the criteria is, right? So you took this other person that is the right person, but you are so unhappy. You're so unhappy. And so basically what you've done, you've fallen on these swords, right? You're sacrificing yourself for appearances. So the guidance with this card is to, to ask yourself first, do you want to be right or you want to be happy? And if the answer is that you want to be happy, then you may have to let go of your ego and accept things the way that they're meant to be rather than the way you want to make them look, right? And this can go for whether you're in a long-term relationship or you're single and you're looking for love. If you've been, sacrificing yourself, putting yourself out for any way, in any way, and you're unhappy, like to keep up appearances, you may want to reconsider and cut that out, not do that anymore. So let's see what else comes up in terms of further advice for each archetype. Masculine. Major Arcana card 18, Confront. So in the traditional tarot, this is, of course, the moon, but it looks like facing the dark. Like, are you afraid of the dark? What those things that are the unknown, facing, challenges that maybe you don't know the outcome. There's no way to see forward how it's going to work out. Or maybe you're receiving guidance to move forward and you don't know, like, well, I don't know if I should do that though, because what's going to happen? If I take a risk and take this new job, what if I don't have any money until, they decide to pay me a month later? Like maybe, what if my paycheck doesn't kick in? It's like all these kind of things, but you're guided to do this thing, but it requires a leap of faith. And so you're being asked to confront these fears, right? The moon can also be about fear. So again, because this one has the black border and it's considered their major arcana card, and not just traditional tarot meetings, but the twist on it as it relates specifically to love. I will read this one too for you. And for the feminine, darkest fears. So you guys are afraid too, or we're, female, feminine archetype, also afraid again, like, what's showing up for the masculine. I think it's interesting that these are both 9s, right? 18 equals 9. And this is about fear, confronting fear. And then you have like a 9 of swords kind of card for the feminine. And it can be like so much fear and anxiety that you're having trouble sleeping because you just don't know what to do about different situations in your life. And I would say most heavily, if you have that, it might be this situation at work. If you're feeling, again, that somebody is dealing with you in an inappropriate manner, and or in your love life, if you are feeling like you're being self-sacrificing and you want to change that, either one of those things could give you some serious pause and anxiety. But know that you, again, have the ability, the power of the magician to heal all these issues, to manifest your dreams, your needs, the partner that you want, the job that you want, the salary that you want. All of that is possible, and particularly, within this space, right now, these 2 weeks, the energy is ripe for it. Masculine for you, we're going to the book. Confront, keywords: fear, question, explore, courage, illusion, clarity. Introspection and clarity are important at this time. Feelings that have lain dormant are now coming to the surface. They have been part of your subconscious for some time. They're referred to as your shadow self and represent all of your fears and delusions regarding matters of your heart. You may have concerns about examining these issues, but know that when an issue rises to the surface, it's ready to be faced and healed. That's what I was saying about the sirens. They show up for healing. Have the courage to acknowledge and to confront these newly emerging feelings. Look at them from all sides and try to determine where they first came from, when and how they were planted in your subconscious. Question the validity of these feelings. Often they were based on your childhood imagination and are no more than illusions. They're not appropriate for your adult relationships, yet they persist. They're not based on reality, but they're powerful influences and can affect your relationships in major ways. They can even prevent a romantic relationship from manifesting. Have the courage to explore your beliefs and your misconceptions about love. You may find that these emerging feelings are based not only on your limited perceptions, but also on what you actually saw or experienced as a child. Know that whatever your reality was then, it does not have to be your reality now. You are no longer that person. Examine these feelings and gain clarity on who you are and what is true for you regarding your relationships. Affirmation. If you'd like to, speak this aloud, maybe, or in your head. I examine my feelings about relationships and release what is no longer my truth. Again, the traditional card associated with this card is the moon. I hope that you guys have enjoyed your biweekly. I will be back on the 13th of January with another one, God willing. Namaste.